The headlines in the South East today. A draft 50-year plan to secure water supplies in the South East is published. Staff prepared to accept patients at the new multi-million-pound A&E department at the QEQM in Margate. And it's day 2 of our peer-to-peer challenge attempt for children in need. Hello, good afternoon. A major vision of how we're supplied and use water over the next 50 years has been unveiled. Created by Water Resources South East, the plan involves leaks being reduced by 50% and a target that each of us uses 40 litres less water a day. There are also proposals to build a desalination plant to convert salt water to drinking water on the Sussex coast, create 2 water recycling plants which turn wastewater into drinking water in Aylesford and Peacehaven, and build a new reservoir at Broad Oak near Canterbury. Well, our environment correspondent Yvette Austin joins me now. And Yvette, these are significant plans.
Well, absolutely. This is the report, all 50 pages of it, looking 50 years into the future, future-proofing our water supplies. Music to the ears, perhaps, of those for us who were worried about the hosepipe bans over the summer and worried about the environment. What sticks out a mile here are those targets to cut leakages by the water companies. They've got to reduce by 50% by 2050, and I'm told if they don't do that, there will be pressure from Ofwat, financial penalties even, and in turn we need to use less water. For instance, in the South East water area, customers use an average of 144 litres per person per day. That's got to get down to just 107. It will be a challenge, but it does seem silly, doesn't it, that we flush our loos, wash our cars with drinking water. Hosepipe bans doesn't look, they'll be consigned to history. There will be all those bans, temporary use bans, drought orders looking forward to 2040. But also, of course, there will be that infrastructure that you mentioned, that new reservoir at Broad Oak near Canterbury. Been decades in the making, talking about it. It is finally going to happen, hopefully.
I think what the summer showed us is how challenging the environment is becoming and why these long-term plans are really important. In the summer, we activated our drought management plan, and that certainly helped us. Going forward, we want to build more resilience. So Broad Oak in the future will definitely provide that resilience.
And all our own water companies come up with their own plans.
Well, that's right. Water Resources South East is the overarching, the umbrella body, if you like. You've got South East Water, Southern Water, Affinity, Thames, the like, in the South East, all doing their own plans too. And they're all sort of coming together at the same time. There are differences, though. For instance, South East Water is saying it wants that Broad Oak reservoir done by 2033. The region says perhaps by 2036. But what's going to happen now is there's going to be a 14-week consultation period, so people can have their say, and eventually this report will finally be at an end, be produced this time next year.
Yvette, thank you very much indeed. A further 400 migrants in 8 boats crossed the Channel yesterday. On the day, the Home Secretary signed a renewed deal with France to try to reduce the numbers making the journey over to the Kent coast. It takes figures for this year to more than 42,000 people. Now, with the NHS facing its busiest ever October in A&E, one of the biggest hospitals in the South East is opening a brand new emergency department, which it hopes will drive down waiting times. The revamp at the QEQM in Margate is being carried out to tackle capacity problems, with 280 people arriving there on average every day. Our health correspondent Mark Norman has been given an exclusive preview of the new facilities with the hospital's emergency care head nurse.
Patients come through here, and this is our brand new...
It smells new.
Yeah, it does. Looks really, really smart, really fresh.
The problems in A&E departments are well documented. Long waits to be seen, challenges finding enough beds for patients, and buildings that simply aren't fit for purpose. This new building in Margate might not solve all those issues, but staff here believe it will help.
So you would come through into our new waiting room.
Is the waiting room big enough? Because I've been in waiting rooms twice this size that have been full with
Yeah.
family members, not here, but
Yep. So at times of peak demand, you can obviously have lots of patients in the waiting room, but that's where the way that we've looked at how we're working kicks in. So actually, patients shouldn't be static in the waiting room. They should be getting moved through to examination rooms. They should be being streamed through to other areas. We've got sit to treat areas for the patients to be moved through and having treatments. So actually, the flow through the
it's a
waiting
very
room
good
should
point.
be
It's a
happening.
modern way of running an
It is.
ED department.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So while this is all very pretty and looks shiny and new, the reality is this hospital has a busy A&E department that struggles to cope with demand, and one that has to frequently care for patients in open spaces not designed for patient care. Through these doors is the existing A&E department. I've just been in there. It is incredibly busy, and staff openly admit it's really difficult to treat patients with privacy and dignity, some patients being treated in open areas. But look at this. From Wednesday, this will be the new majors department. It is a radical change from what they're currently having to cope with and will completely alter the patient experience. One of the big changes is a new improved area for children to be seen in an emergency in an appropriate child-friendly environment.
The amount of children that we have been seeing over the last couple of years has increased dramatically. I'd say in the last 2 years we've almost doubled on the paediatric attendances, and this is vital.
As the finishing touches are put to the new buildings, there was genuine excitement today from the staff as they look forward to admitting patients to the department later this week. Mark Norman, BBC South East Today, Margate.
Now, this morning, the BBC South East team set off on the second leg of their Pudsey peer-to-peer challenge for children in need. It's a 61-mile walk over 5 days and began yesterday at Gravesend's Town Pier and finishes at Eastbourne Pier on Friday. Well, today they're attempting to walk from Addington near West Malling to Tunbridge, battling the elements, as Chrissy Reedy explains.
We're approaching Shibburn. We've walked pretty much 7 miles today, and the weather is shocking. It is cold. Yes, I have my waterproofs on. I've even got thermal gloves on. My boots, thankfully, are waterproof because there have been a lot of puddles. But we're just heading up to a school where we're going to find out how everyone's been raising money for children in need, and hopefully we can dry off for a little bit.
And you can follow the progress throughout the week on our Instagram page. That's BBC South East. And of course, we know times are hard for everyone at the moment. But if you'd like to support us in our challenge attempt and donate to BBC Children in Need, just go to bbc.co.uk/walk and talk. Football, and Gillingham host AFC Fylde tonight in their FA Cup first round replay. The Gills drew 1-1 in the original tie. The replay kicks off at 7:45 tonight, and if the Gills win, they'll face Dagenham and Redbridge in the second round. Now we can have a look at the weather forecast. John Hammond is here now. I think Chrissy had a clue about the weather today.
Well, I've got good news actually for Chrissy and for the rest of us actually. A day of two halves. Most certainly the reward for that soggy start is a much brighter end to the day for most of us. Some sunshine, but there's plenty more rain to come in the outlook, and for much of the time it will stay quite blustery. You can see the extent of the rain earlier on, but clearer skies are now feeding in to Sussex, and those clearer skies will progress their way east with some late brightness perhaps for eastern parts of Kent, but then some showers pushing in as we head towards evening time. It'll feel chilly, as Chrissy said, just 12 or 13 degrees. It's cooler than we've had. More showers rattling in as we head into the night, fed on by that blustery wind. There will be some dry spells, but not to be relied upon, and temperatures in those clearer gaps dipping down into single figures. Tomorrow, another day of sunshine and showers. Most of the showers probably down towards the coast. Some lengthier dry and bright spells further inland, but a few of us I think staying entirely dry, 11 or 12. That will feel cool in the breeze. More rain sweeping in tomorrow. That's of some concern given the amount of rain we've already seen this month. Any additional rain is going to cause a lot of surface water and spray, hence the warning from the Met Office. And actually looking further ahead in the outlook, although there will be some windows of dry and bright weather, particularly for a time through the weekend, there's a lot of rain in the forecast, and that does increase the concern with time that we could see some flooding across the region. Stay tuned to the forecast.
Will do. Thank you very much indeed, John. And that's all from us for now. Charlie Rose will be back with our next programme at 6:30. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.